So I just got done, like many of you begrudgingly so, watching this Denver Broncos versus Indianapolis Colts game that they played on Amazon. And man, there's a lot to talk about here. First things first, I have not watched that many Colts games. I think I've watched two of them. There was the Chiefs game, and there was this. If this is what the Indianapolis Colts look like on a regular basis on the offensive side, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look, the Broncos were bad, but like I have seen the Broncos play like this for like four games. I watched the Seahawks game at the beginning of the season. I watched the Texans game. I watched that 49ers game, and I watched this game this week, right? The only game I missed was the one they lost to the Raiders. And I think we're at the point of the season where we could start to make more definitive calls on things. And one of the things that I have heard for 5 straight weeks now, whenever I tune in to a Broncos game, is the announcers go over they go over they go out the way, is a better term, to tell us Russ in a new system, y'all. We can't be too tough on Russ. He's in a new system. There's a new head coach here. It's a new offense. And I am calling BS on that. I'm calling BS. I've seen enough. The truth is that Russ been in this system since March. Since March. He got traded for in March. It is October. You're still having new offense problems? It's been 7 months. What have you been doing? What have you been doing for 7 months? If you don't know the offense by now, that's a whole semester, brother. You are a vet. He got drafted with 2013. He's a 10-year vet. A 10-year vet. It don't take a 10-year vet 7 months to learn the offense. It shouldn't take Russell Wilson 7 months to learn an offense. There is a problem there. What I saw on Thursday was not a quarterback that doesn't know his offense. I saw something quite to the contrary. A quarterback who knows the offense so well that he has such a strong negative opinion of that offense that he is actively working against it. That's what I saw happen on Thursday night. This is a quarterback in a power struggle with a coach. This is exactly what is going on in Denver. It's not him not knowing the offense. It's not the wide receivers not know. It's been 7 months, man. Like, this stuff does not happen with other teams. It's literally only Russ. And you can point to like, oh, Baker Mayfield looks bad. He got there in July. And he's Baker Mayfield. This is Russell Wilson. What else? Matt Ryan looks terrible. Well, Matt Ryan's just old. Right? We saw Matt Ryan play out there, and he was in this game, so he's worth talking about. We saw Matt Ryan go out there, and he just looked like old man Matt. Right? I didn't think, wow, Matt Ryan is in conflict with the system. I thought, Matt Ryan old as shit. He just can't throw no more. Like, that's just what it is with Matt. He's old. He's been old for a couple of years, but since it's been on the Falcons and the Falcons haven't been competing for the last couple of years, nobody has noticed nor cared. Like, ever since the Falcons switched to them FUBU jerseys, like, nobody's paid attention. So people have just been, Matt Ryan been flying under the radar for the last few years. But he hasn't been good. Falcon fans been arguing about it for the last 3 years. And now we're finding out for everybody to know, because I think everybody kind of turned their brain off about Matt Ryan after that Super Bowl loss and thought that was still the dude that the Indianapolis Colts were getting. That wasn't the dude. Matt Ryan was cooked well before he even got to the Colts. So him being cooked right now, like, that's not a surprise. And again, it ain't like the Colts gave him a new contract to come there. They just traded like a 3rd-round pick for him. So even then, the Colts, they're not going to get flamed as much as the Broncos here, because the Broncos are paying $200 and something million. They gave a new contract out to Russ when they didn't have to. Well, they kind of had to. Quasi had to, didn't have to. It was kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of deal there. But nonetheless, you gave this dude a bunch of money to play quarterback for you for the next 5 years. And in the last 3 games, you have put up 11 points, 23 points, 9 points. My bad. They didn't even get to 12. Okay. You have point totals of 16 in week 1, 16 in week 2, 11 in week 3. It looked like it was getting better. You lose by 9 points, but at least you got 23 points. And then this week you score 9. It's getting worse. And I think everybody is going to take the cliche take on this, which is, oh, well, Russ is just learning the offense. Come on, man. We can't believe that anymore, Russ learning the offense. What's there left for Russ to learn? Russ been in the NFL 9 years. No offense should be this difficult to learn. It really shouldn't. It really shouldn't. And he's smart enough to where if he was still learning an offense, there should be a good chunk of the playbook he should be able to function well in. He's not functioning well in anything. And honestly, I don't know how much of this is him, because I do think a lot of this is him struggling for power with Nathaniel Hackett. I think he wants to do specific things. Nathaniel Hackett wants to do specific things, and they're budging, and nobody's moving. I think that's definitely one of the things that's going on. The other thing is that Russ just ain't Russ no more, man. I think he can still give you 2 or 3 drives of being Russell Wilson, right? Or Russ. I'll say Russ, right? He'll give you like 2 or 3 drives of that where he's Russ and he's rolling out and he's throwing accurate on the run and he's tucking and going and he's spinning out of stuff. And he can give you about 2-3 drives of that a game on a good day. But them other drives, he's Russell. And we seeing a whole lot of Russell out here, right? Like that's the problem, is that the Russ to Russell ratio that we're getting in these games has increased substantially, right? That first week, it was like 3 drives of Russ, a bunch of drives of Russell. This week, it was just 1 drive of Russ up until the 20-yard line, and then it was straight Russell, right? When they get into the red zone now, there's no more Russ. It's not Russ anymore. It's Russell. He's terrible in the red zone. He is absolutely awful in the red zone. He threw 2 Did he throw 2 or 3? He threw 2 interceptions. Both of those interceptions were in his own, were in like within the 10-yard line of his own end zone. Or the opponent's end zone, whichever one they scoring. I'm sorry, it's late. But still, he's awful in the red zone. He's awful. Like, it was like clockwork in this game. You would see the Broncos, they got down to the red zone like 3 times, man. 3 times. And like clockwork, once they got in there, shut down. And that doesn't even, let's talk about the end of regulation. Which one's worse? Okay, so the Broncos are up 9-6 this game. They drive down. I think they're like at the 25 or 35 yard. They're pretty close to they're in field goal range. They're 100% in field goal range. Everybody watching this game has had this thought. The way the Colts are looking, there's no way they can come back from 6 points down. That's how bad the Colts offense looked today. It's going to get overshadowed because they won, but the Colts offense looked god-awful. All they got to do is kick a field goal. They probably win this game. They decide to go for the kill, which, hey, if that was Russ, I wouldn't mind it. But that's not Russ no more. That is Russell Wilson, who is a above average quarterback at times. And he had a very below average throw in his own red zone, and it was an interception. Bad. Really bad, right? He had another interception where he threw off his back foot. And here's the big thing with Russ, the big difference between when he's Russ and when he's Russell. He's not super athletic anymore, right? and that's one thing. He's still athletic enough to bounce out and make some runs, but his accuracy throwing the football on a run has plummeted. He is not accurate on the run anymore. If you whip up the highlight tapes of 2013, like 2018 Russ, and you see all those like great throws he makes on it, he doesn't do that anymore. And I don't think that's coming back. And that's a huge part of Russ. And okay, let's get to this overtime, right? So this overtime, and look, Nathaniel Hackett, he just seems like a man who is not qualified for the position that he is supposed to be in. He seemed overmatched. He really does. Like, I kind of feel bad for him because I remember when Freddie Kitchens was in this situation, he wasn't a bad person. He was just horribly, horribly underqualified for the position that people decided to give him. And that's what Nathaniel Hackett is. He don't know what to do when it comes to the big decisions. That man literally went for it on 4th and 1 because he got criticized for not going for it the last time in week 1. That's the only reason he went for it on 4th and 1. And when you making decisions because of like stuff like that as a head coach, you're cooked, dog. Like just give up the clipboard and get fired and save yourself a lot of embarrassment, because this is headed towards you being fired at least in a year, if not like now. You know what I mean? Because that was just embarrassing. What do you mean you're gonna go for it, specifically because like everybody yelled at you, right? Like you can't let what people say on TV and Twitter dictate how you coach, right? If you have a philosophy at the end of the day, you got to run that philosophy out, whether people like it or not. It's your job. You can't let them call the games for you. He let them call the games for him. What kind of stuff is that? And then he goes for it. And to his credit, Nathaniel Hackett calls up a beautiful play here. This is a rub route to KJ Hamler. And KJ is going to come underneath. And if you watch the play, they get the picks. KJ is wide, butt booty naked open. But where's Russ looking? For whatever reason. And I don't know how this happens, right? Because obviously, if you're running a rub play, that's the first read, right? That's football 101. If you're delegating 2 wide receivers to rub one open, that's not going to sound right. But still, the point is, if you're getting a wide receiver on a rub route to get KJ Hamler open, that's the first read. But for whatever reason, Russ pre-snap axes the read, right? That's what happened. He looked around, saw something pre-snap, would love to know what that something was. I don't know if he did a press conference, but he got to let us know what he was looking at, and decided pre-snap, all right, I'm not going here. I'm going to have my eyes here. He never sees KJ Hamler pop wide open. That's when, and look, I'm a Russ fan. I've been a fan and admirer of Russ since 2013. I'm a fellow short king. Like, I look up to dudes like Russ who could ball it. Like, he was fun to watch, all those things. Like, I was a big fan of Russ. But that's the moment where I'm like, Russ is done. He's no longer Russell Wilson. He's no longer Russ. He's Russell Wilson. He's not the same guy that he was, that we remember from Seattle. The same can be said for Matt Ryan, but like, we didn't hold Matt Ryan in the same esteem that we held Russell Wilson in. And for Russ, this is just either he adjusts to what he doesn't have anymore, because his old style is not going to work. If he has to go out and throw him to run a bunch and do that stuff, it's not going to work because he's simply no longer accurate. Like, I can blame a lot of this stuff on Nathaniel Hackett, but he's not accurate on the run anymore. That's a huge part of why he looks like this. And if Russ can't throw on the run like he used to with accuracy, then who is he? Because that's what made him be able to work for so many years in the NFL, despite being 5'10", is his ability to roll out, throw on the run accurately, and there's nothing defenses can do about it. But now, if you can't do that, then what can you do? That's a problem. Broncos got some problems ahead of them. And look, I ain't even going to roast the Broncos for trading for him. I wanted the Browns to do it. I didn't see this coming either. But this does look like it is the situation that it is. But that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Y'all have a great day. Have a good night.